My name is Mara Calder. And for the longest time, I believed I was a mistake. Not the kind of mistake you laugh about later over dinner. Not the kind that turns into a funny family story. But the kind that hangs in the air like smoke. The kind that makes people look away when you walk into a room. The kind that whispers in your ear at 3 in the morning, telling you that you do not belong. I was the youngest of 4 children. And I was the one who never quite fit in. My older brother, Vincent, was the golden child. Straight A student. Full scholarship to an Ivy League university. Now a successful corporate lawyer with a corner office, and a view that costs more than most people make in a year. He was everything my parents dreamed of. My sister, Juliana, was not far behind. Medical school. Residency at a prestigious hospital. She saved lives. She wore her white coat like armor, and everyone in the family spoke her name with reverence. Then there was my other brother, Nathaniel, the entrepreneur. The risk-taker who somehow always landed on his feet. He started 3 businesses before he turned 30. 2 failed. 1 exploded into success. He drove cars that purred and wore watches that gleamed. And then there was me, Mara, the dreamer, the soft one, the one who cried at movies and stayed up late writing poetry no one would ever read, the one who chose art over economics, the one who could not seem to finish anything she started. I enrolled in college because that is what you were supposed to do. My parents made that very clear. But halfway through my 2nd year, everything fell apart. My grandmother, Lorelei, got sick. Not just a cold. Not just the flu. Cancer. Aggressive. Unforgiving. The kind that moves through your body like wildfire, and leaves nothing but ash in its wake. She lived alone in a small house on the edge of town, the same house she had lived in for 40 years. The same house where I spent every summer as a child. The same house that smelled like lavender and old books and safety. When she got the diagnosis, everyone in the family said the same thing. We will visit when we can. We will call to check in. We will send money for a nurse. But no one actually showed up. Vincent had a case. Juliana had her rounds. Nathaniel had a business trip. My mother had her book club and her yoga classes and her carefully curated life that did not include the messy reality of death. So I went. I packed a bag, dropped out of school, and moved into Grandma Lorelei's house. My mother was furious. "Mara," she said over the phone, her voice tight with disappointment. "You will never get anywhere by wasting time on people who cannot help you back." I remember holding the phone away from my ear, staring at it like it was a foreign object. "She is your mother," I said quietly. "And she is dying," my mother replied. "There is nothing you can do to change that. But you can still change your future. Go back to school. Finish your degree. Do not throw your life away." I hung up. I did not cry. I just sat there in the kitchen, watching my grandmother sleep in the next room, her chest rising and falling in slow, labored breaths. And I made a choice. I chose her. The months that followed were the hardest of my life. Grandma Lorelei was in pain most days. The medication helped, but it also made her foggy, distant. Some days she did not remember my name. Some days she called me by my mother's name. Some days she just stared out the window and hummed old songs I did not recognize. But there were good days too. Days when she was sharp and present. Days when she told me stories about her childhood, about the war, about the man she loved who never came home. Days when she held my hand and said, "You have always been my favorite, you know." I would laugh and say, "You are not supposed to have favorites." And she would smile, that mischievous smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes, and say, "I am old. I can do whatever I want." It was on one of those good days that she said the words I would carry with me for the rest of my life. Some people lead with pride, Mara. They build towers and monuments and empires, and they stand on top and shout, "Look at me. Look at what I have done." But that is not leadership. That is ego. She paused, her breath rattling softly. Others lead with heart. They build bridges. They build homes. They build shelters for the lost and the broken. They do not shout. They do not demand to be seen. But they change the world anyway. You, my dear, were born for the second kind. I did not understand what she meant at the time. But I would. Grandma Lorelei passed away on a Tuesday morning in late September. The leaves were just starting to turn, and the air had that crisp, golden quality that makes everything feel both beautiful and unbearably sad. I was holding her hand when she took her last breath. It was quiet, peaceful, like she just decided it was time to go. I sat there for a long time afterward, just holding her hand, feeling the warmth slowly fade from her skin. And then I called my family. They came for the funeral. All of them. Vincent in his expensive suit, Juliana in her tasteful black dress, Nathaniel with his perfectly styled hair, my mother with her composed expression and her careful words. They cried. They said all the right things. They hugged me and told me I had done a good thing. But none of them stayed. After the service, after the reception, after the condolences and the casseroles, they all went back to their lives. And I was left alone in Grandma Lorelei's house, surrounded by her things, drowning in grief and uncertainty. There was no inheritance. She had nothing to leave except the house, which was old and needed repairs, and her belongings, which were worth more in memory than in money. My family assumed I would sell the house and move on. My mother even offered to help me find a new apartment, somewhere closer to the city, somewhere I could start fresh. But I could not do it. I could not let go of the one place that had ever felt like home. So I stayed. I got a job at a coffee shop downtown. I worked long hours for low pay, serving lattes to people who did not see me. I went home every night to an empty house that echoed with the absence of the one person who had ever truly believed in me. And I felt lost. Completely, utterly lost. I did not know who I was supposed to be. I did not know what I was supposed to do. I just knew that I could not go back to the life I had left behind. Then one day, on my way home from work, I passed by a youth shelter. It was a small building, tucked between a laundromat and a corner store. The paint was peeling. The sign was crooked, but there was a group of teenagers sitting on the steps outside, laughing and talking, and something about the scene made me stop. I do not know why. Maybe it was the way they looked at each other, like they were the only family they had. Maybe it was the way one of them, a girl with dark hair and tired eyes, glanced up at me and smiled. Maybe it was just fate. But I walked inside. The director, a woman named Corinne Ashford, was behind the front desk, buried in paperwork. She looked up when I entered, surprised. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I want to volunteer," I said. The words came out before I even realized I was going to say them. Corinne blinked. "Do you have experience working with at-risk youth?" "No." "Do you have a background in social work or education?" "No." She studied me for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she smiled. "When can you start?" That was the beginning. At first, I just helped with meals. I chopped vegetables. I stirred pots. I served food to kids who looked at me with suspicion and hope in equal measure. But slowly, I started talking to them. I learned their names, their stories, their dreams. There was Cairo, a 16-year-old boy who had been kicked out of his house for being gay. He was brilliant, sharp, funny, but he carried a sadness in his eyes that broke my heart. There was Tegan, a 15-year-old girl who had aged out of foster care and had nowhere to go. She was tough, guarded, but she loved to draw. Her sketches were beautiful, haunting, raw. There was Dax, a 17-year-old who had been living on the streets for 2 years after his mother overdosed. He did not talk much, but he had a quiet strength that demanded respect. They reminded me of myself. Not because we had the same stories, but because we all knew what it felt like to be overlooked, unheard, underestimated. I started tutoring them. I was not a certified teacher, but I knew how to read. I knew how to listen. I knew how to sit with someone in their pain and say, "You are not alone." And slowly, something started to shift. The kids started to trust me. They started to open up. They started to believe that maybe, just maybe, they could have a different future. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, I sat in the shelter's tiny office with Corinne. "These kids need more than a place to sleep," I said. "They need a place to belong." Corinne nodded. "I know. But we are already stretched thin. We barely have enough funding to keep the lights on." I thought about my grandmother's house. It was big, old, empty, and suddenly, I knew exactly what I needed to do. What if we opened a community center? I said. A place where kids can come not just for shelter, but for support, for mentorship, for opportunities. Corinne looked at me like I had grown a second head. Mara, that is a beautiful idea. But it takes money. A lot of money. Then we will raise it, I said. I did not know how. But I knew I had to try. I spent the next 6 months transforming my grandmother's house. I painted the walls. I fixed the broken windows. I cleared out the old furniture and replaced it with tables and chairs donated by local businesses. I reached out to everyone I could think of. I contacted local artists and asked them to donate their time to teach workshops. I reached out to community organizations and asked for partnerships. I started a social media page and shared stories of the kids we were helping. At first, no one paid attention. But I kept posting. I shared Cairo's story. How he had been rejected by his family, but was now top of his class and dreaming of becoming a lawyer. I shared Tegan's art. Her beautiful, heartbreaking sketches that captured the pain and hope of her life. I shared Dax's journey. How he had been living on the streets but was now working a part-time job and saving for his own apartment. And slowly people started to notice. A local news station reached out. They wanted to do a story. I almost said no. I was terrified. I did not want to be in the spotlight. I just wanted to help. But Corinne convinced me. These kids deserve to be seen, she said. And so do you. The segment aired on a Thursday evening. They called it The Black Sheep Who Built a Safe Haven. I watched it at home, alone, my heart pounding in my chest. They interviewed me. They interviewed the kids. They showed the community center, the Calder Haven, named after my grandmother. And they told our story. Within hours, the video went viral. My phone would not stop buzzing. Messages poured in from all over the country. People wanted to donate. People wanted to volunteer. People wanted to share their own stories of being the black sheep, the outcast, the one who never fit in. Within a week, we had raised $50,000. Within a month, we had raised $200,000. I could not believe it. I kept waiting for someone to tell me it was a mistake, that the money would disappear, that this was all just a dream. But it was real. And it kept growing. We expanded the center. We hired staff. We brought in therapists and counselors and mentors. We started offering college prep courses and job training and art therapy. Kids who had been sleeping on the streets now had a place to call home. Kids who had been told they would never amount to anything now had people who believed in them. And I finally understood what my grandmother had meant. I was not leading with pride. I was leading with heart. And that made all the difference. Then one Saturday afternoon, my phone rang. It was my brother, Vincent. I had not spoken to him in over a year. I stared at his name on the screen, my thumb hovering over the decline button. But something made me answer. Hello, Mara. His voice was different. Softer. Almost unsure. I saw the news, he said. I saw what you have been doing. The center. The kids. All of it. I did not say anything. I did not realize, he continued. I did not realize what you were building. I thought you were just wasting your time. But I was wrong. You have built something incredible. I felt a lump form in my throat. Why are you calling, Vincent? There was a long pause. I want to help, he said. If you will let me. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to remind him of all the times he had dismissed me. All the times he had made me feel small. All the times he had chosen his career over his family. But I did not. Come volunteer for a weekend, I said. Then we will talk. He came that Friday. He showed up in jeans and a t-shirt, looking completely out of place and utterly terrified. I put him to work immediately. He helped serve meals. He cleaned tables. He sat with the kids and listened to their stories. And on Sunday night, after everyone had gone home, he sat down in the center's kitchen and cried. I have spent my entire life chasing success, he said, his voice breaking. Chasing money and titles and approval. And I thought I was winning. I thought I had it all figured out. But these kids, they have nothing. And yet they have more hope, more strength, more heart than I have ever had. He looked up at me, tears streaming down his face. You were right, Mara. I was the one who was lost. I reached across the table and took his hand. You are not lost, I said. You are just finding your way. After that, Vincent came back every weekend. Then Juliana heard about it. She showed up one Saturday morning unannounced, with a box of medical supplies and a tentative smile. I thought you might need a doctor on call, she said. I hugged her so tightly I thought I might break. Then Nathaniel came. He did not bring supplies. He brought ideas. Let me help with fundraising, he said. Let me use my connections. Let me do something that actually matters. And finally my parents came. They did not call ahead. They just showed up one Sunday afternoon, looking older and smaller than I remembered. My mother stood in the doorway of the center, looking around at the walls covered in art, at the tables full of kids laughing and studying and healing. And she started to cry. I was wrong, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I was so wrong about you. I could have held on to my anger. I could have made her suffer the way she had made me suffer. But I did not. Because that is not what Grandma Lorelei would have wanted. Come help us serve dinner, I said. And she did. Now every Sunday my entire family shows up at the Calder Haven. Vincent tutors kids in math and science. Juliana runs a free health clinic one Saturday a month. Nathaniel organizes fundraisers and corporate sponsorships. My parents serve meals and listen to stories and learn what it means to truly see people. They used to call me the black sheep, the one who did not fit in, the one who would never amount to anything. But now they call me the one who brought everyone together. Because I finally understand the truth. Being the black sheep does not mean you are lost. It does not mean you are broken. It does not mean you are less than. It means you see the world differently. It means you lead with your heart instead of your ego. It means you build bridges instead of walls. The Calder Haven has now served over 300 young people. We have helped kids get off the streets. We have helped them finish school. We have helped them find jobs and housing and hope. We have watched them transform from broken, forgotten souls into strong, confident, beautiful humans who know they are worthy of love. And every single day, I walk through those doors and I think about my grandmother. I think about the way she held my hand in her final days. I think about the way she told me I was born to lead with heart. And I think about how she was right. I was never the mistake my family thought I was. I was never the failure they whispered about behind closed doors. I was just walking a different path. A path that led me here. To this moment. To this life. To this purpose. Sometimes, when I am working late at the center, I feel her presence. I feel her standing beside me, her hand on my shoulder, her voice whispering in my ear. I am so proud of you, my dear. And I smile. Because I know she is. The journey was not easy. There were nights when I cried myself to sleep, wondering if I had made the right choice. There were moments when I wanted to give up, when the weight of everything felt too heavy to carry. There were times when I questioned whether I was strong enough, smart enough, capable enough. But I kept going. Not because I was fearless, but because I had faith. Faith in the vision my grandmother had planted in my heart. Faith in the kids who walk through our doors every day, carrying their pain and their hope in equal measure. Faith in the possibility that one person, no matter how small or overlooked or underestimated, could make a difference. And I did. We did. Together. Last month, Cairo graduated high school with honors. He was accepted to 3 universities with full scholarships. On graduation day, he stood on that stage, in his cap and gown, and he looked out into the audience and found me. And he smiled. A smile so bright, so full of pride and joy and gratitude, that I felt my heart might burst. After the ceremony, he hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for seeing me when no one else did. I held him and cried. Because he had it backwards. He was the one who had saved me. All of them had. Tegan is now enrolled in art school. Her work has been featured in local galleries. She is pursuing her dream of becoming a professional artist. She still comes to the center every week to teach art classes to the younger kids. She tells them the same thing I once told her. You are not your circumstances. You are not your pain. You are so much more than the world has told you you are. Dax has his own apartment now. He is working full-time as a mechanic. He is saving money to go to trade school. He still stops by the center sometimes, just to sit and talk and remind the newer kids that it gets better. I was where you are, he tells them. I know it feels impossible, but if I can do it, so can you. These are the stories that keep me going. These are the moments that remind me why I do this. Not for recognition, not for praise, but because every single person deserves to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. My family finally understands that now. They see the impact we are making. They see the lives we are changing. And they see me, not as the black sheep, not as the failure, but as the leader I always was. My mother and I had a conversation a few months ago that I will never forget. We were sitting in the center's garden, watching the kids play basketball in the courtyard. She turned to me, her eyes soft and full of regret. I am sorry, Mara, she said. I am sorry for all the times I made you feel like you were not enough. I am sorry for not seeing you. I am sorry for not believing in you. I could have said a lot of things. I could have told her how much her words had hurt. I could have reminded her of all the ways she had failed me. But instead, I just took her hand. I forgive you, I said. Because I did. Because holding on to anger would not change the past. And because I had learned that forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of bitterness. It is about choosing love over resentment. It is about building a future instead of clinging to the past. My mother squeezed my hand, tears streaming down her face. You are extraordinary, she whispered. And I am so proud to be your mother. Those words healed something inside me I did not even know was broken. Looking back, I realized that being the black sheep was not a curse. It was a gift. It taught me resilience. It taught me compassion. It taught me that success is not measured by degrees or promotions or bank accounts. It is measured by the lives you touch, by the love you give, by the hope you inspire. I was never meant to fit into my family's mold. I was meant to break it. I was meant to show them a different way, a better way. And in doing so, I found myself. The Calder Haven continues to grow. We are opening a second location next year. We are expanding our programs to include mental health services and career counseling and life skills training. We are partnering with schools and businesses and community organizations to create a network of support for young people who need it most. And every single day, I wake up grateful. Grateful for my grandmother, who saw something in me that no one else did. Grateful for the kids, who taught me what true strength looks like. Grateful for my family, who finally found their way back to what matters. Grateful for the journey, with all its pain and beauty and unexpected grace. Because I am no longer the mistake no one planned for. I am the miracle no one saw coming. I am the black sheep who became the shepherd. And I am leading my flock home. One heart at a time. One story at a time. One life at a time. This is my story. This is my truth. And I am just getting started. Because there are still so many kids out there who need to know they are not alone. So many hearts that need to be healed. So many dreams that need to be believed in. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure they are seen. Making sure they are heard. Making sure they know that they matter. That they are enough. That they are loved. Because that is what my grandmother taught me. And that is the legacy I will carry forward. Not with pride, but with heart. Always with heart. So to anyone out there who has ever felt like the black sheep, to anyone who has ever been told they are not good enough, to anyone who has ever been overlooked or underestimated or cast aside, know this. You are not a mistake. You are not a failure. You are not less than. You are just walking a different path. And that path might be harder. It might be lonelier. It might take you places you never expected. But it will also lead you to your purpose, to your truth, to the life you were always meant to live. So do not be afraid to stand apart. Do not be afraid to be different. Do not be afraid to lead with your heart. Because the world does not need more people who follow the crowd. It needs shepherds. It needs builders. It needs healers. It needs people like you. And when you finally find your flock, when you finally build your haven, when you finally step into the fullness of who you were meant to be, you will look back and realize that being the black sheep was never a punishment. It was preparation. For something beautiful. For something meaningful. For something that will change the world. Just like it changed mine. My name is Mara Calder. And I was born to lead with heart. This is my story. And it is only the beginning. The center has become more than just a building. It has become a movement. Young people from all over the city come to us, seeking refuge, seeking guidance, seeking a family they never had. And we welcome them all. No judgment. No conditions. Just open arms and open hearts. We have started a mentorship program where successful adults in the community volunteer their time to guide our kids through the challenges of life. We have lawyers mentoring kids who want to go to law school. We have doctors mentoring kids who dream of medicine. We have artists mentoring kids who want to create. We have entrepreneurs mentoring kids who want to build. And every single one of these mentors tells me the same thing. I get more out of this than they do. Because when you give from a place of genuine love, you do not lose anything. You multiply it. The ripple effect of what we have built is staggering. Kids who came to us broken and hopeless are now thriving. They are going to college. They are starting careers. They are breaking cycles of poverty and abuse and addiction. They are becoming the parents, the mentors, the leaders that they never had. And they are coming back to pay it forward. Last week, a young woman named Indira walked through our doors. She had been one of our first kids 5 years ago. She had come to us after being kicked out of her home for getting pregnant at 16. She had been scared, alone, convinced her life was over. But we helped her. We gave her a place to stay. We helped her finish school. We supported her through her pregnancy. We celebrated with her when her daughter was born. And now, 5 years later, she walked back in with her daughter on her hip and tears in her eyes. "I want to volunteer," she said. "I want to give back. I want to be for someone else what you were for me." I hugged her and cried. Because that is the dream. That is the goal. Not to create dependence, but to create a cycle of hope and healing that continues long after we are gone. The center has also become a place of reconciliation for families. Parents who kicked their kids out have come back, broken and repentant, asking for another chance. And we facilitate those conversations. We help them heal. We help them rebuild. Because no one is beyond redemption. No one is beyond forgiveness. No one is beyond love. I have learned so much from these kids. They have taught me about resilience in the face of unimaginable pain. They have taught me about hope when everything feels hopeless. They have taught me about love that does not demand perfection but embraces humanity in all its messy, complicated beauty. They have taught me that strength is not about never falling. It is about getting back up, again and again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And they have taught me that sometimes the people the world overlooks are the ones with the most to offer. I think about my grandmother every single day. I think about how she believed in me when no one else did. I think about how she saw potential in me that I could not see in myself. And I try to be that person for someone else. Every single day. The center has received national attention now. We have been featured in magazines and documentaries and news programs. People want to know our secret. They want to know how we have had so much success with kids that the system has given up on. And I tell them the truth. There is no secret. There is no magic formula. There is just love. Unconditional, relentless, unshakable love. The kind of love that says, "I see you. I believe in you. I will not give up on you." The kind of love that meets people where they are, not where you wish they were. The kind of love that does not keep score or demand repayment. The kind of love my grandmother gave me. And the kind of love I am determined to give to as many people as I possibly can. My family has been transformed by this work. Vincent is a different person now. He still practices law, but he has shifted his focus to pro bono work for underprivileged youth. He uses his skills to fight for kids who have no one else to fight for them. He has told me multiple times that volunteering at the center saved his life, that it gave him a purpose he did not know he was missing. Juliana has started a nonprofit clinic that provides free healthcare to homeless and at-risk youth. She works long hours, often for no pay, because she has finally found work that feeds her soul. Nathaniel has redirected his business acumen toward social entrepreneurship. He has launched several initiatives that create job opportunities for young people who have been in the system. And my parents have become the heart of the Sunday dinner program. They show up every week without fail, cooking and serving and listening and loving. They have formed deep relationships with the kids. They remember names and stories and birthdays. They have become the grandparents so many of these kids never had. And watching them transform has been one of the greatest joys of my life, because it proves that it is never too late to change. It is never too late to choose love over pride. It is never too late to become the person you were always meant to be. Last month, we celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the Calder Haven. We threw a huge party with food and music and laughter. Current kids, former kids, volunteers, donors, family members, everyone who has been part of this journey came together. And in the middle of the celebration, Corinne pulled me aside. "Do you remember the day you walked into the shelter?" she asked. I nodded. "You look so lost," she said. "So uncertain." And I remember thinking, this girl has no idea what she is getting herself into. We both laughed. "But I was wrong," she continued. "You knew exactly what you were getting into. You were just brave enough to do it anyway." She hugged me tightly. "Your grandmother would be so proud," she whispered. And I knew she was right, because I can feel her. In every success story, in every healed heart, in every second chance, I can feel her smiling, cheering me on, reminding me that I was always enough, that I was always exactly who I needed to be. As I look around the center now, filled with life and love and possibility, I am overwhelmed with gratitude. Gratitude for the hard times that shaped me. Gratitude for the rejection that redirected me. Gratitude for being the black sheep, because it led me to my true flock. I am not perfect. I still have doubts. I still have hard days. But I also have purpose. I have meaning. I have a life that matters. And that is more than I ever dreamed possible. So this is my message to you. If you are the black sheep in your family, if you are the one who does not fit the mold, if you are the one they whisper about and doubt and dismiss, know this. You are not broken. You are breaking ground. You are not lost. You are pioneering a new path. You are not less than. You are just different. And that difference is your superpower. So embrace it. Own it. Use it to build something beautiful. Because the world does not need more copies. It needs originals. It needs you. Exactly as you are. With all your quirks and dreams and unconventional ideas. Because you might just be the one who changes everything. I was the mistake no one planned for. The disappointment. The one who would never amount to anything. But I became the one who built a kingdom of hope. The one who brought a family back together. The one who proved that leading with heart is the most powerful form of leadership. My name is Mara Calder. And this is my story. A story of redemption. Of resilience. Of love that conquers all. And if I can do it, so can you. So do not give up. Do not give in. Do not let anyone convince you that you are not enough. Because you are. You always have been. You always will be. And the world is waiting for you. To step into your purpose. To claim your place. To build your legacy. Not with pride. But with heart. Always with heart. The months following our 5-year anniversary brought unexpected challenges that tested everything we had built. A major donor pulled out due to financial difficulties. The city threatened to shut down one of our programs because of new regulations. And we had an influx of kids that pushed our capacity beyond its limits. There were nights when I sat in my office, surrounded by bills and paperwork and impossible decisions, wondering if we could survive, wondering if I had the strength to keep going. But then I would walk out into the main hall and see the kids. I would see them laughing together, studying together, healing together. And I would remember why we started this in the first place. It was never about the money. It was never about the recognition. It was about the people. And people are always worth fighting for. So we fought. Vincent used his legal expertise to navigate the city regulations and found loopholes that allowed us to continue operating. Juliana organized a medical fundraiser that brought in enough money to keep us afloat for 6 months. Nathaniel reached out to his business contacts and secured new corporate sponsorships. And my parents rallied their community, organizing bake sales and car washes and donation drives. The entire family came together like never before, united by a common purpose, driven by a shared love. And we survived. Not just survived. We thrived. Because when you build something on a foundation of love, it cannot be easily destroyed. It bends but does not break. It struggles but does not surrender. It endures. During this difficult season, I grew closer to the kids than ever before. They saw me struggle. They saw me cry. They saw me doubt. And instead of losing faith in me, they rallied around me. Cairo, who was now in his second year of college, came back to help tutor the younger kids. He gave up his spring break to be at the center full-time. "You were there for me when I had nothing," he said. "Now it is my turn to be there for you." Tegan organized an art auction to raise funds. She convinced other artists in the community to donate pieces. The event raised $15,000 in one night. "You taught me that my art matters," she told me. "Now I am using it to make sure this place keeps mattering to others." Dax started a GoFundMe campaign that went viral. He shared his story, raw and unfiltered, about how the Calder Haven had saved his life. The campaign raised over $100,000 in 2 weeks. "I was homeless and hopeless," he wrote. "This place gave me a future. Please help us make sure other kids get the same chance." Watching these young people, who had once been so broken, step up to save the place that had saved them was the most humbling experience of my life. It reminded me that this was never just my mission. It was our mission. A collective movement of hearts coming together to create change. And that is when I realized something profound. I was no longer the shepherd leading the flock. We were all shepherds now. Each one of us leading in our own way. Each one of us using our unique gifts to build something bigger than ourselves. The center had become a living, breathing organism of hope. And it would continue long after I was gone. That realization brought me both peace and purpose. Peace because I knew the work would endure. Purpose because I knew there was still so much more to do. We began expanding our reach beyond our immediate community. We started consulting with other cities that wanted to replicate our model. We created a training program for people who wanted to start their own community centers. We shared our successes and our failures, our strategies and our struggles. Because we understood that this was bigger than just our city. This was about creating a movement. A national network of safe havens where young people could find hope and healing. Within a year, 5 new Calder Haven centers opened across the country. Each one adapted to fit the unique needs of their community. Each one led by people who had been touched by our story and wanted to create their own. The ripple effect was extraordinary. Thousands of kids were now being served. Thousands of lives were being changed. And it all started because one woman believed in one girl who did not fit in. My grandmother. The woman who saw beyond my flaws and failures and saw my potential. The woman who planted seeds of faith that grew into forests of hope. I visit her grave every month. I bring flowers and sit beside her headstone and tell her everything. I tell her about the kids. About the centers. About the family we have become. And I thank her. Thank her for believing in me when I could not believe in myself. Thank her for teaching me that true leadership is not about power or prestige. It is about service and sacrifice and love. Sometimes I swear I can hear her voice on the wind. "I always knew you would do great things, my dear." And I smile through my tears. Because she was right. Not because I am exceptional, but because love is exceptional. And when you lead with love, you can move mountains. My relationship with my family has deepened in ways I never imagined possible. We are no longer just relatives who share DNA. We are a team. A unit. A family in the truest sense of the word. We have Sunday dinners together now, not at the center, but at my home. The home that used to be my grandmother's. The home that used to echo with loneliness. Now it echoes with laughter and conversation and love. Vincent brings his wife and kids. Juliana brings her partner. Nathaniel brings whoever he is dating that month. And we all tease him lovingly about his inability to settle down. My parents sit at the head of the table, holding hands, looking more content than I have ever seen them. And we talk. Really talk. About our fears and our hopes and our dreams. About the work we are doing and the lives we are changing. About mistakes we have made and lessons we have learned. We are not perfect. We still disagree sometimes. We still hurt each other's feelings. But we have learned how to apologize. How to forgive. How to choose love over pride. And that has made all the difference. One evening, after everyone had gone home, my mother stayed behind to help me clean up. We worked in comfortable silence for a while, washing dishes and putting away leftovers. Then she stopped and turned to me. Mara, I need to tell you something. I looked up, concerned by the seriousness in her tone. When you dropped out of college to take care of Mom, I was so angry, she said. I thought you were throwing your life away. I thought you were being foolish and naive. I thought you would regret it for the rest of your life. She paused, her eyes glistening with tears. But you were right and I was wrong. You saw what really mattered. You understood something I had forgotten. That love is more important than success. That people are more important than achievements. That being present is more important than being impressive. She took my hands in hers. You have taught me how to live, Mara. You have taught me what it means to be truly successful. And I am so grateful for you. So incredibly grateful. We held each other and cried. And in that moment, I felt a healing that I had not even known I needed. The wound of rejection that had been carved into my heart years ago was finally, fully closed. Replaced by acceptance. By love. By belonging. The work at the center continues to evolve. We have added new programs that address mental health, addiction recovery, and trauma healing. We have partnered with therapists who specialize in working with at-risk youth. We have created support groups where kids can share their stories and know they are not alone. We have started a scholarship fund that helps kids pay for college, trade school, or entrepreneurial ventures. We have launched a job placement program that connects our youth with employers who believe in second chances. Every program is designed with one goal in mind: to help young people not just survive but thrive. To give them the tools and resources and support they need to build the life they deserve. One of our recent success stories is a young man named Phoenix. He came to us 2 years ago, fresh out of juvenile detention. He had been arrested for stealing food because he was starving. His mother had abandoned him when he was 12. His father was in prison. He had been bouncing between foster homes and group facilities for years. He was angry, guarded, and convinced that the world was against him. When he first walked into the center, he would not make eye contact with anyone. He sat in the corner with his hood up, radiating hostility and pain. But we did not give up on him. We met him where he was. We gave him space when he needed it. We offered support when he was ready. Slowly, over months, he started to soften. He started to trust. He started to hope. He discovered a passion for cooking. We enrolled him in a culinary program. He excelled. He worked harder than anyone I had ever seen, driven by a desperate need to prove himself. And he did. Last month, he graduated from the culinary program at the top of his class. He was offered a job at a prestigious restaurant downtown. At his graduation, he gave a speech that left everyone in tears. 2 years ago, I thought my life was over, he said. I thought I was worthless. I thought I did not deserve anything good. But then I found this place. I found people who saw something in me that I could not see in myself. They did not judge me for my mistakes. They did not give up on me when I pushed them away. They just kept showing up. Kept believing. Kept loving me until I could love myself. He looked directly at me. Miss Mara, you saved my life. And I promise you, I will make you proud. I will use this second chance to build something beautiful. And someday, I will pay it forward just like you taught me. I could not hold back my tears. Because that is what this is all about. Not recognition. Not awards. Not praise. But moments like these. Moments when you see a broken soul become whole. When you witness transformation that defies logic and expectation. When you realize that love really does conquer all. Phoenix now volunteers at the center every weekend. He teaches cooking classes to the younger kids. He shares his story with anyone who will listen. And he is living proof that no one is beyond redemption. That everyone deserves a second chance. That where you come from does not determine where you are going. The center has become a beacon of hope not just for young people, but for the entire community. Local businesses have partnered with us to provide internships and job opportunities. Schools have partnered with us to offer tutoring and mentorship. Churches and community organizations have partnered with us to expand our reach. We have become a model for what is possible when a community comes together around a common cause. When people choose compassion over indifference. When they choose action over apathy. And it all started because one girl refused to give up on her dream. Refused to let rejection define her. Refused to accept that being different meant being less than. I think about the girl I used to be. The one who felt so lost and alone. The one who believed she was a mistake. The one who thought she would never be enough. And I want to go back and hug her. I want to tell her that everything is going to be okay. That the pain she is feeling is not permanent. That the rejection she is experiencing is not a reflection of her worth. That she is being prepared for something extraordinary. But I cannot go back. All I can do is move forward. And help as many other lost, lonely, hurting people as I possibly can. Because I know what it feels like to be invisible. To be dismissed. To be told you will never amount to anything. And I know how much it means when someone sees you. Really sees you. And says you matter. Your life has value. You are worthy of love. That is the gift my grandmother gave me. And it is the gift I am determined to give to everyone who walks through our doors. Last week, I received a letter from a woman named Celeste. She lives across the country and had heard about our work through the documentary that was made about the center. She wrote that she had been the black sheep in her family too. That she had always felt like she did not belong. That she had spent years trying to prove herself to people who would never accept her. But after watching our story, she realized she had been looking for validation in the wrong places. She realized that her worth was not determined by other people's opinions. She realized that being different was not a weakness but a strength. And she decided to stop trying to fit in and start building her own path. She started a nonprofit that provides housing for homeless women and children. She used her own pain as fuel to create change. And she wanted to thank me for inspiring her. I read that letter 3 times, crying harder each time. Because that is the power of sharing your story. You never know who is watching, who is listening, who is being inspired to step into their own purpose. Your vulnerability gives others permission to be vulnerable. Your courage gives others permission to be courageous. Your healing creates space for others to heal. And that is a responsibility I take seriously. Every time I share our story, I do it with the hope that someone out there who feels like giving up will choose to hold on for one more day. That someone who feels worthless will realize they are priceless. That someone who feels alone will know they are seen. Because we are all connected. Your pain is my pain. Your healing is my healing. Your victory is my victory. And when one of us rises, we all rise. The center is planning a major expansion next year. We are purchasing the building next door and turning it into transitional housing for young adults aging out of the foster system. We are creating apartments where they can live while they finish school or start their careers, where they can learn life skills and build community and transition into independent living with support. Because we have realized that our work cannot end when kids turn 18. That is often when they need us most. When the system abandons them. When they are thrust into adulthood without preparation or resources. When they are most vulnerable to homelessness, exploitation, and despair. So we are extending our reach, expanding our mission, ensuring that no young person has to face the world alone. The fundraising campaign for this expansion has been incredible. People from all over the world have donated. Strangers who have been touched by our story and want to be part of the solution. We have raised almost $2 million so far. And we are on track to open the new facility by next fall. I am overwhelmed by the generosity, by the kindness, by the proof that there are so many good people in the world who care deeply about making a difference. It restores my faith in humanity. It reminds me that while there is darkness in the world, there is also incredible light. And that light grows every time someone chooses love over hate, compassion over cruelty, action over indifference. My grandmother used to say that every person is born with a light inside them. Some people spend their whole lives hiding that light because they are afraid of being seen, afraid of being judged, afraid of being rejected. But the bravest people, she said, are the ones who let their light shine no matter what, who refuse to dim themselves to make others comfortable, who understand that their light might be exactly what someone else needs to find their way out of the darkness. I think about that often, and I try to live by it. I try to let my light shine, even when it is hard, even when I am tired, even when I am scared, because somewhere out there is a kid who needs to see that it is possible to rise from the ashes, to overcome the odds, to build a beautiful life from broken pieces. And if my story can give them hope, then every struggle was worth it. Looking back on the journey, I am amazed at how far we have come. From one woman volunteering at a small shelter to a national network of centers serving thousands of young people. From a family fractured by judgment and disappointment to a family united by love and purpose. From feeling like a mistake to knowing I am exactly where I am supposed to be. The transformation has been nothing short of miraculous. But it did not happen overnight. It happened through years of showing up. Years of choosing hope over despair. Years of believing that love is stronger than hate. Years of refusing to quit even when quitting would have been easier. And that is my message to anyone who is in the thick of their struggle right now. Keep going. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Because transformation takes time. Healing takes time. Building something meaningful takes time. But it is worth it. Every tear. Every sleepless night. Every moment of doubt. It is all worth it when you finally see the fruit of your labor. When you finally witness the lives you have touched. When you finally understand that your pain had a purpose. I will never forget where I came from. I will never forget what it felt like to be rejected by the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. I will never forget the loneliness, the doubt, the fear. But I also will never forget the moment everything changed. The moment I decided that my family's rejection would not define me. The moment I chose to build my own path. The moment I realized that being the black sheep was not a curse but a calling. That moment changed everything. And I want you to have that moment too. I want you to wake up one day and realize that you are not broken. You are not less than. You are not a mistake. You are perfectly, beautifully, wonderfully you. And the world needs you exactly as you are. So stop trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for being different. Instead, embrace your uniqueness. Own your story. Use your pain as fuel to create something beautiful. Because you have something inside you that no one else has. A perspective. A gift. A light that only you can shine. And when you finally step into your purpose, when you finally let your light shine, you will realize that you were never the problem. You were always the solution. My name is Mara Calder. And I was born to lead with heart. This is my story of rejection and redemption. Of pain and purpose. Of being the black sheep who became the shepherd. And it is only the beginning. Because there is still so much work to do. So many lives to touch. So many hearts to heal. And I will spend every day I have left making sure that no one has to feel the way I once felt. Alone. Invisible. Worthless. Because every single person deserves to be seen. To be heard. To be loved. And I will fight for that until my last breath. This is my legacy. This is my life's work. This is my love letter to every outcast, every misfit, every person who has ever been told they do not belong. You do belong. You matter. You are enough. And your story is not over. In fact, it is just beginning. So rise up, black sheep. The world is waiting for you. If this story touched your heart, if it inspired you to believe in second chances and the power of love, please subscribe to our channel. We share real stories of real people overcoming impossible odds. Stories that remind us all that hope is never lost, and that every person has the power to create change. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of believers, dreamers, and world changers. Together, we can build a future where everyone knows they matter. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, you are never alone.